Story time on a Sunday. Goldwood. So you might have seen Goldwood advertised in Parts Express, which I find ironic because Goldwood has a perfectly good website and you can order from them. Typically when you order directly from Goldwood, you want to buy by the case. You don't want to buy by the little unit. And they have a bunch of generic stuff, I should say non-badged, that is quite functional and quite useful. Stuff that you can buy. A lot of the stuff you can buy on Amazon or something like that. But they have their own series of subs. I haven't found anything that's super great, but Goldwood is really good for like replacement stuff. So they have the Monterey series, which is 600 RMS. And then they got the Newport series, which is 400 RMS. And then they have the Huntington, which I think is a Polycone or something like that. And they got Redondo. And then the Delmar. Again, it's just a series. This is all just Chinese. And none of this stuff is badged. None of it says Malibu or anything on it like that. Sometimes it'll have the part number. That's about it. The GW, whatever. I think the only thing that I ever get from them is these guys. I like these. They make the 6.5 in a 4 ohm, and they're clear, so it'd be great for like if you put LEDs behind it or by it or something like that. That would be good, and then pair it up with some good tweeters or something like that. Even the Recoil tweeters are fine to make a component set out of this one. So because it plays up to 5K, which you don't need to go that high, but it's nice. So, and then the Balboa, and then specialty speakers. So always do your homework, always shop around, always, again, we sold these for a while. These were the first Bender series, but they're not that great. They only handle about like 300, 500 watts. So we had a guy that bought like 4 of them, and then his client burned them up and he wanted, new ones. I was like, no, that's not how it works. I was like, now if I would have charged you, let's say, $500, something like that. Sure, I'll give you a new one because you just paid for 3 in advance. So, and again, that's all that Kicker and those guys do. They have their own. They're big enough to have their own factories in China. Oh yeah, here's that JBL tweeter I was telling you about. So that's the titanium. Yeah, see, titanium. See, it's right there, titanium. And then they got 3 different flange versions. So, and then of course that doesn't say JBL. What does that say? I don't know, but it doesn't say JBL, but it's the orange square, just like JBL. And then they got the basic Mylar stuff. Some bullet tweeters. Again, these are good for just replacements. And if you're in the right spot, especially if you run a retail store or you're doing stuff locally, like say this thing costs $10, you charge a client $50. He's like grateful, thankful. So because I'm sure the factory wanted $100 or $150. So there's plenty of money to be made. You just got to, keep your eyes open. And then they also do a lot of PA stuff. What I really like Goldwood for is PA stuff. So I'll even show you some of my secrets here. I'm not a big fan of these with the twisty ones. Although when we did have a shit ton of them left over from the Orion auction, these use a 13 millimeter or 1/2 inch. I would keep a little extension, about a 3-inch extension with a socket on it to tighten those because my fingers are a little too big to get in there. So that's just my little secret. My favorite one was is it on here? The RGT 5050, this one. So it's a great little terminal cup. I would buy them by the case, and then they have a little gasket on the back, and they have the spring terminals, which is really nice. That's my favorite. This is a little bit bigger, and again, it's good just to have some of these. I still have a case of these. I use these often. This is the 2.5 cutout, 3-inch cutout, 2-inch cutout, and then I have a shit ton of these that were from Diamond Audio buyout here locally, and those are the good Tecate. I told you about those, the Tecate ones made in Mexico. So, and then these are the Chinesium ones that are pretty popular. And then you got the press fit. I got boxes. I got a whole pallet of these. If anybody wants these, 25 cents each. You got to buy a whole box, but that's fine. And then a bunch of other stuff that you can find at something like, again, if you just want onesie twosies, just buy from Parts Express. Oh, that's where this might have come from. So I was seeing stuff like this from Parts Express for like $1 each, and I just the capacitors and the stuff that it came with it alone was worth the $1.79 or whatever. I always buy by the case just because I can, and I want the best price. And then what's funny is a lot of times in a deal, just to push it over the top, I'll include the terminal, right? Or I'll include in this case, the grill or something like that. People go over the moon. And I'm like, that was easy. So the other thing I get though is these guys, the bar grills. The only way they become affordable is if you buy them by the case here, and they're sold in a case of 25, and you got to assemble them. I would love to import these as well because I think the price is a little high on those. They also have base blockers, again, components. You really want to buy this stuff surplus. Like a lot of times you can get an inductor that's too big, and then if you have an LCR meter, then you just unwind it to whatever value you need. Then you can make your own crossovers you want. And then of course all these, again, you probably find them on Parts Express cheaper, but if you want a good selection, or if you're what's really good is if you're doing an OEM, if you're becoming the OEM and you're building your own PA cabinets, and you're making your own speakers locally, you can actually do quite well and have a signature look using a brand or a distributor like Goldwood. So, and then they got a lot of the handles. These are the stands that go for the top part where this will sit on top on a pole so that the highs are up high and then the bass is down low. So, and they also sell enclosures. Again, I don't really recommend onesie twosies just because you can find them on Amazon. And I think that Goldwood doesn't like to deal with onesie twosies anyways. When I was buying enclosures from them, I would have to buy by the pallet, and because they're in Cali, they're pretty close. Shipping was pretty cheap. So, but that's some of the stuff that they can do for you if you want to do OEM. Again, that's big money. See, for your OEM needs. If you're going to do something like this from China, and then they act as a middleman and just sort of coordinate stuff for you. Again, you got to have more money than time and knowledge than to really make that worth something. And then you can hit these guys up. I think they do. I don't even think they do this in a physical anymore. I think they just do online with a PDF. So, but get your LLC. And again, you probably want to start with an LLC that you don't mind burning. Just call it like whatever, Jizz Nation LLC. So that way, if you get in trouble for something, the judge has to say Jizz Nation LLC over and over. I think you get that fucking prosecutor talk shit. Anyways, yeah, and then you can compare the dealer pricing. So I haven't ordered from these guys in quite a while. I think the last time I ordered was last year. Was a case of the grills, just because I don't like paying whatever it was, $10 to $12 each on a grill. And then I typically sell it for double that, so $25. And then when you buy in bulk, the price goes way down to probably, let's say, $6, say $7. So now you're turning $7 into $25. It's pretty good. So there's pretty good margins on a lot of this stuff, especially if you're doing, again, it depends on what you're doing and how you're doing. Not everybody is into car audio, and it depends on your area. A good niche to get into might be pro audio or home theater or something like that. Again, it also depends on your skill set and what you're trying to do. So, but that's Storytime. There's their information in Chatsworth, California. And they're a member of the CEA, right? Which means they just have people that they go to Christmas parties with. So anyways, I love you guys. I will talk to you later.